Hi friends, so glad to be back with you. We are starting our very first day after break. Today is the first day back. We had such an amazing time off. In fact, the party ended at our house last night. We had friends here. We went out different places. We hosted, we played a lot of games, ate a lot of great food. And now it's time to get back to the daily grind. And I'm ready. I really enjoyed the time off and I'm ready for that same old routine that we've come to love over time. I'm thinking today's gonna probably be a slow start. I did some morning time with our kids and we're just gonna slowly get back into it. Things are starting up again for our kids. Piano lessons are gonna start again this week. My older kids are going to be starting volleyball. They play, that's one night a week. Then James, our 10-year-old, is going to be starting basketball. He has practice one night a week and then a game every weekend. So little things like that. We're involved in a couple things. We try to keep our family first. So we pick sports or activities that are not going to take away from our family time. Another thing that's starting is our co-op, and everyone's excited for this. Our co-op is just a really close-knit community. This is like family to us, and we're so excited to go tomorrow and see our friends again. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on our day. On our first day of school, we had this beautiful snow, and we couldn't help from going out and enjoying it. The big kids got started on their independent work, but I took all these little guys outside to enjoy it. Wow, it's so pretty out here. It's Monday.
Well, see? Mom, what? Mom, I'm making a pie. It's pumpkin pie.
Oh, pumpkin pie. That sounds great. What are you putting in your pie?
Strawberries.
Strawberries. One great job for our 6 and 8-year-old is to bring in wood for us. So that's what William's doing here. I am really excited about a new year. I love a fresh start, and I actually love this time of year for homeschooling because we just get a lot done, and it's just the perfect way to spend your time when it's cold. Inside, Luke is working on his Algebra 2. Brinley is doing a writing assignment. It sounds like James was just finishing up writing a letter to someone. They are all keeping busy. We still have some of our Christmas decorations up. I kind of handle taking down the Christmas decor just the same way that I handle putting it up. I just do one little thing at a time. So we'll just slowly put it away over time. And honestly, January can be really kind of dark, and I like keeping up the outside lights. I like keeping the lights on the tree. I have a little friend here with me. You want to say hi? So I keep a lot of the lights here up around the house. I find that in this month, January through March, we get a ton of bookwork done. And so while it's cold and dreary outside, it's the great literature, the great read alouds we're doing, some of the poems we're going to be doing this month that just warm our hearts. And this is the time of year for those kind of things. Since this is a new year, this would be a great time for me to reintroduce myself to some of you who are new here. My name is Sherry. I'm married to Nelson. We met in high school and we've been married almost 25 years. We have 10 kids. Our oldest is 19, and then our youngest is almost 2. And lots of kids stair-step in between. We've been homeschooling from the very beginning, and it didn't take us long to absolutely fall in love with this lifestyle. And I like to come here on the channel and encourage you. I also write over on the blog, ourlifehomeschooling.com.
Here, sit back so he can sit in front of you. Hold on.
I need my own sled.
Okay.
Will, you don't even wear snow pants or snow boots?
You want a sled? Do you want a sled?
I think I'm going to take one of my coats off.
Daddy, you have 2 coats on? Let's get in. Ready?
Okay, hold on to him.
Okay.
Hold on to him. There you go. Go ahead.
Ready? Woo!
Homeschooling looks so different when you have older kids. When I started out, there was so much foundational work with little ones that just took up all of my time. And that just slowly changed over the years. As your kids get older, they become so much more independent.
We have to find I found the 6th term in, the expansion things, you use Pascal's triangle, and you try and find, you have to find, with your binomial theorem.
Now, as kids get older, some of their work becomes more challenging, but I'm someone who just believes that you can learn anything you want to learn if you apply yourself. And for us, it hasn't been too much of a challenge. Our older kids take classes at a co-op where they're taught by other teachers, and so they can always reach out to them for help. And the curriculum that we've used has been really user-friendly. They do Math UC for the most part for high school math. Another one I know that's really good at teaching kids in a way that they're able to slowly understand is teaching textbooks. That's another one that's highly recommended, although it's not one that I've ever used. Now, Luke has always been pretty good at math, so this comes easily to him for the most part. I won't necessarily do Algebra 2 with all of my kids. I think some of my kids would benefit so much more from a business math or consumer math, something along those lines. But this is great for him. Another thing that changes when you have older kids is that your schedule's a little bit less predictable. When you have all littles, you can kind of plan out your day. You have your morning time, your lunch, quiet time in the afternoon, and you can kind of segment things. But as they get older kids come and go, especially once they start driving. We have a lot of kids in our house frequently. They'll bring friends home, they'll go over to friends' houses. Sometimes I walk in the door and there are people, teenagers that I wasn't expecting, and honestly, I love it. I love that they want to be here and that our house is full. So it does change quite a bit when you have older kids because they're starting to manage their own schedules, and I don't always know what their schedules are. And it becomes a little bit less predictable. You never know what can happen in a day. We all came in, took off our snow things, and put them by the fire. And I reheated up a pot of chicken noodle soup I had made the day before. So it was really nice that I didn't have to make lunch today.
Okay. Jenna, croutons? Are you hungry? Can you say please?
Look, where's that?
I'll be right back.
Did somebody get, did you get your shoes?
Alright.
Can you print this?
Yep. Do you want to thank for this day? Get more school done.
There really is nowhere else I'd rather be on a snowy January day than here with my favorite people. When Benjamin was a baby, he was not an easy one. He just seemed to be so easily upset and hard to please, but he has really turned a corner. And it's like he just discovered that he likes snuggling with mommy, which is so sweet. I just am eating it all up. I get excited about a new year because I love to see progress. And this is a time of year where we just get a lot done. I have a couple goals. I'm going to be sharing those with you in just a minute. It's also a time of year where I get to just spend a lot of time individually with my kids. Here, Afton is working on this little project. She got this quill pen for Christmas and she just loves it. And then James is working on looking up some things for co-op in an art museum. There were some pieces that were stolen, so he had to find out some information about those. Because we're inside so much more this time of year and in closer proximity, I just feel like I spend a lot more time with them and can catch up on where everyone is individually. I'm excited about some of the books that I'm going to be reading. I've read through a couple of the books in the Chronicles of Narnia series, but I've actually never read through all of them. Most of my kids have, my older kids have, but my younger kids haven't, so I'm finishing that up. I also have 2 Shakespeare stories that I'm reading. I already started one in morning time. Those are in our Simple Morning Time notebook. You can find that on the blog if you'd like to get one for yourself and follow along. We have another composer to do, another artist to do for morning time. I want to finish up the biography we're reading about Beethoven. And I also want to read a couple books from the Middle Ages, Renaissance, and Reformation, specifically the book A Door in the Wall by Marguerite D'Angeli. This is what my kids are doing in history right now, so I just want to read a couple things to them that go along with that. And this all seems doable to me. Reading to my kids is such pleasure, so it doesn't overwhelm me to think about what I'm reading to them or what I want to read. I had a really cool moment this past 2 weeks ago, I think, when I was reading a Christmas book to William. We were reading a picture book. He is my newest reader. And for the very first time, as I was reading to him, he said, "Hey, Mom, I can read that." And if you've taught a child to read, this is the moment that is so exciting. When they finally realize that they don't have to just read from their readers, they can actually read from any book that they see. And that happened to us this past month.
Corda was bright. Mommy, she said, look, there's.
Our cats seem to know when it's time for read aloud because they always either snuggle up by the fire or they come over to the sofa where we're reading. And it's like they just know that it's time. The kids gather up their things. They each are usually working on something different or just looking at something while I'm reading.
Twilight was coming on as they rode slowly up the windings of Glasswater Creek. A twilight which deepened as the banks grew closer together and the overhanging trees began almost to meet overhead.
I don't mind my kids doing other things while I'm reading to them. It just has to be quiet enough that it's not distracting someone else or keeping someone else from hearing the story. So they can play with blocks, they can do different things as long as everyone else can listen.
I didn't want to discourage your majesties when you said you hoped King Caspian would give you a good one.
But meat's precious scarce in camp, and there's good eating on a bear.
I've had a couple people ask me what I do when I have an older child that needs help with something, for example with math, and my younger kids need me at the same time. And that happened on this morning, and what I did was I usually just tell that older child, let's put this aside, go do your other work, and then after our read aloud time in the afternoon when all the kids are down for naps, I take them individually and we sit when it's quiet and work on it together.
Well, I kind of thought today would be a really laid back day, but as it turned out, my kids really just got right to work and we plowed on through. And like I mentioned earlier, January through March is when we get a ton of bookwork done. We're all inside a lot more. There's not as much to do. And so they really got to work. I thought I would share with you a couple of my goals that I have for the new year. I tend to be a goal setter. I like making plans and then I love being able to cross them off that we did them. I generally do reach my goals and I think it's probably because I write them down, and I also make sure to pick things that I know are attainable for me. So a couple things I'm going to change this year. The first is that I want to start doing our chores, moving it to before breakfast. So if you're familiar with our morning time at all, we usually do morning time and breakfast, then we do chores. Next is independent work. We break for lunch and going outside, and then the last thing is our read aloud. But I want to switch those two things in the morning. I want to try starting with our chores first and then having breakfast and morning time. I've just been feeling like there's a lot of wasted time there where kids are kind of just standing around. And so that's one change. The second goal that I have for this year is a more specific goal. And if you hear a lot of noise out there, that's because there are happy kids playing. But the second goal is that I want to spend some individual time with my older teenage girls. So my older kids they're just getting so independent. In fact, in the high school years, it really almost feels like you're not homeschooling sometimes because they just go off, other than morning time and reading to everyone in the afternoon, they really go off and do their own work and they're able to just get through things pretty much on their own. And I want to get back into their world. So I tried this over Christmas break and it's something I definitely want to keep doing. And that is I've had a couple evenings where we'll just sit at night in my bedroom with hot tea and we sit around and it's ask me anything. They can ask me any question they want. And then I in turn ask them questions to make them think. So I'm hoping to do this at least once a month. I don't want to set the bar too high. Once a month, just have these times with the girls. I know it meant so much to them when we did it. My third goal is just to keep being consistent. Keep checking in individually with each of my kids. And I have a ton of read alouds that I have planned for the next couple months. I'm excited about those. So nothing too exciting or earth-shattering, but I want to keep consistently checking in with each of my kids and going through what they've done on their checklist and just making sure that they're reading the books on their list. I have several things on our morning time in our morning time notebook that we do that I've already started doing the next Shakespeare story with them. So just consistently doing morning time, afternoon time, and checking in with my younger kids or with all my kids to see where they're at and what they need help with.
Afton is learning how to find the measurement of an angle that is adjacent to a triangle. And this is something that's become easier and easier for me to explain because I've done it several times. Math gets easier the more you teach it.
You know, two of them, you're able to find the last one.
Yeah.
So you can do 180 and subtract these two. These two angles are equal because these two sides are equal. If one angle is possible. One angle in the triangle will be obtuse. This could be folded over. Okay. And then this as well.
Thanks for following along with us this week. For those of you who don't know, I also have a podcast. You can find me on Apple or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. I look forward to sharing our homeschool with you in the new year. See you next week.